So I got a client who's a military dude, really nice guy, and he's got adult kids, and we're getting into all his shit and getting down to all the parent shit. And he says, "Oh no, Sven, I don't have parent issues. I forgave my parents for all that they did." And he had told me about all they had done in his autobiography that he wrote up for me. And I said, "You forgave him? God bless you. Good for you. Whatever." And I said, as we dug down more and more, what I discovered was that he explicitly stated basically that he forgave his parents because he feels so much guilt over some of the stuff that he had been neglectful and done to his kids in the raising of his own now adult kids. And he feels bad about it. And so he hopes that by forgiving his parents that his kids will then forgive him. And I said to him, those are two unrelated events. You do see that, right? You forgiving your parents, nothing wrong with that, in hopes that your kids will forgive you. He says, "Yeah, but I'm a Christian, Sven, and it says in the Bible, if you want to be forgiven, you got to forgive." I said, "Yes, it does." I said, "I got a question for you. You came to me in part because I used to be a Lutheran pastor." I said, "So do you want me to answer you as a clergyman or as the person you're coming to for counseling?" He said, "I don't know, both." I said, "All right, well, let's do that Bible Christian thing first." I said, "You're basically saying that you're going to God, you're stepping up to the counter and you're saying, 'Yeah, God, I'll have a pack of Lucky Strikes and one forgiveness to go, please. And by the way, I'm in a little bit of a hurry.' And God's saying, 'Oh, okay, that'll be $10 and I'll need you to forgive someone else.' You're purchasing a forgiveness from God, right? You're saying, 'God, if I forgive this person, will you please manipulate my kids to forgive me?' Because the Bible, technically, what is it, Matthew 6 or something like that? The Bible doesn't say that, if you want a person to forgive you, you got to forgive another person. No, God says that if you want God to forgive you, like on the judgment day or whatever, you got to be forgiving people here on earth. But you are not asking for God's forgiveness. You're trying to get a forgiveness from your kids because you feel so much fucking guilt." I said, "So you're going to God and saying, 'Listen, God, if I forgive over here, will you please manipulate my kids?' So you're taking out your kids' agency. You're taking out their free will. That's some shitty theology." And he's like, "Fuck, you're right." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know of any branch of a religion that fucking works this way. Or you're trying to curry God's favor, hoping that he'll drop a good word magically inside of your children." I said, I'm all for you forgiving your parents if that's what you want, but you're trying to manipulate God." He says, "Oh, yeah." I said, "But as your counselor, as the person you're coming to for insight and advice, one doesn't correlate to the other. That in the end, if you choose to forgive your parents, that's up to you, all right? But the notion of forgiving them before you get your own pain out means you are short-circuiting your forgiveness process, or your healing process, right? Because so often people say, "Well, I forgive and I'm doing it for me and that way I can let it go." You're not letting it go. Forgiving without doing the actual work of processing out all of the pain and all the fears and all the bullshit beliefs you were taught about yourself only packs all that pain and shit down deeper. It doesn't make it magically go away because you said the magic words that unlock the lock of freedom and self-awareness and a higher plane by saying, "I forgive them." Well, now it's all gone. Bullshit. It's not how it fucking works. I said, "No, you're doing the forgiveness thing because you don't want to touch that shit. It's so painful. All the crap that was done to you as a 7-year-old or 11-year-old and as a 13-year-old, you don't want to touch it. And so you're rushing to forgiveness at the expense of your own healing." I said, and you're cloaking it in, you hope your kids will forgive you, and you're cloaking it in the religion thing. The truth is, if these are two unrelated events, you forgiving your parents and your children forgiving you. I said, if you want your children to forgive you, and I'm speaking to you now as the person you're coming to for counseling, if you want them to forgive you, the best chance you have is to own your shit. Own your shit. Go to them and apologize for everything you think you've done wrong and ask them what else you've done to hurt them. And take it and own it. Don't just give a 5-cent apology for a $500 crime. "Oh, I'm sorry I did all that stuff. Now can we have a relationship?" Because that's you using them, right? To get what you want. If you're really concerned about their healing, you will own. You will take it into. You will have actual contrition. That's the precursor to forgiveness, if they choose to forgive, and it's still optional. So it's not even a guarantee. All right? But the real best thing you can do for the long-term relationship with you, with your kids, if you have one, and your own relationship with yourself, and your own relationship with God, is to go into that vault where you were packing away all your feelings because it wasn't safe to let all that stuff out. It's to go into that vault and to begin to process and get out of you all of the pain, all of the fears, and especially all of the bullshit beliefs you were taught about yourself. That's why I have people read my book and do the exercise in my book. There's a hole in my love cup. That's what my podcast is about, and it's free. And the Badass Counseling Show. All of this is to get you to go into that vault and purge it all out, and then you can forgive if you want to. But forgiving before you do that work is foolish. You're just packing it down deeper, and it will continue to eat you up from inside. You got the guts to go into the vault and to begin to do the actual work, or you're just papering over it, pretending it's not there, wallpapering it with forgiveness. Have a kick-ass day.